that's a Missouri team that played South Carolina toe-to-toe minus their starting quarterback, James Franklin. And what about the gutty play tonight from South Carolina as Dylan Thompson unable to get it done, and the great play of Connor Shaw to go into that game hurt and lead a 17-point comeback. That is an unbelievable turn of events there that will impact Tennessee's game next weekend. So first blush, Bino, before we talk about this Alabama game, Missouri, everyone's wondering now, first blush, what's this do?
I think the outcome helps Tennessee, Tony, without question. I think they go in facing a football team for the first time this year that's going to be questioning themselves.
Yep, I totally agree with that. If they would have gotten out of there and escaped with a win tonight, it would have been a great result. As it was, or as it is, it's a crushing defeat, and has to be a crushing defeat for Missouri. By the way, 865-200-5402. Again, 865-200-5402. Bino, I'll throw this out to you. I'll throw this out to the living listener. After watching Tennessee and Alabama today, what's closer? Alabama to being able to beat the Jacksonville Jaguars, or Tennessee to Alabama? I mean, that just doesn't look fair. What Alabama has right now, what they're doing, it was really nice to think that Tennessee was going to hang in there, and it was amusing to feel that way. But you watch that game today, and it just wasn't reality.
No, Tony, I mean, Alabama is just an absolute machine. There may be two teams in college football anywhere close to them, and we won't know that until we see one of them on the field with them. Certainly disappointed that Tennessee was never truly in the game, and with the ease that Alabama moved the football, what we saw today was just, arguably the best team in the country versus a team that's still trying to find itself. So what you see is what you get, I guess.
Yeah, I totally agree with that here on Tennessee Saturday Night, as we thank our friends at Dalton Bearing and Hydraulics for helping to present tonight's show. And you talk about a team that's in the groove, all the bearings in place. That Alabama team, any little mistake that you make, Tennessee was just never, and I mean never, in that football game. Never even pretended, Bino, to be in that football game, which kind of disappointed me. I was hoping to see our guys give a better shot. But if you think about it, the last two games, how emotionally draining both of them must have been. The really tough loss to Georgia, that was sort of like Missouri's game tonight. And then the just a really difficult loss, just a gut-wrenching loss. And then the emotion of last week and the win and getting to enjoy that all week. You can tell that it just sort of wore our guys. Our guys just weren't there today, Bino.
Well, in the first half, Tony, I didn't see the same emotion that I saw, a level of intensity that I saw our kids play with the last 2 weeks. But, the truth is, when a team's just bigger and faster than you and deeper than you, there's only so far intensity can take you. The next step for Tennessee's program is to get to where they're closer to the same team on the road as they are at home, and there's a vast difference between those two teams.
It's the Grand Canyon. Like I said before, I don't know what's closer. Tennessee to being able to beat them, or this Alabama team to being able to line up with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm saying that in all sincerity. Because Tennessee, if Nick Saban wanted to today, how badly does he win that game? 50 points? 60?
Yeah,
60.
Yeah,
I mean,
they
seriously.
took their foot off the gas. They were ahead 35-0 and took their foot off the gas. Now, you know, I think there were some encouraging signs in the second half, but Saban was running clock and basically has run clock against everybody with the exception of Texas A&M.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And the A&M game, they were down 14-0 early, and that was sort of a personal thing. Like, we're getting you guys. You got us last year. Your face is getting ready to get rubbed in it, and you're not going to like the way this is going to feel. And it was difficult to watch today. There's just no doubt about that. Here's the thing I'm not going to do with today's loss, though. With today's loss, and Tennessee was going to lose that game regardless. It wasn't a tremendously costly loss in terms of injury, so for that we should feel very fortunate. This team here should be able to rebound from what happened. What happened at Missouri in real time 10 minutes ago should bolster Tennessee's chances on the road next week at Missouri. These guys should be able to put this loss out of their minds and should be able to get through this Alabama result, especially in light of the way I thought Tennessee looked offensively in the second half. I thought there were some good signs there.
Yeah, and Tony, that's one of the things about the second half. I didn't see a team that looked like that they were ready to cash in their chips on the season based on today's result. They looked to me to be a team that can bounce back and go into what could be, a very productive month of November. Very challenging, but a lot of opportunities there.
Absolutely going to be tremendous fun, and it gives you a real sense of appreciation when you watch tonight, when you truly sit there and you look at how good South Carolina is when Connor Shaw's on the field. It gives you a tremendous sense of appreciation for the accomplishment the Vols had last weekend in Neyland Stadium. That was truly, truly a great win for the Vols, and we'd love to talk with you at 865-200-5402. The bottom line is there is no sense in beating up on Tennessee after that game today. There's really no sense in beating up on Butch Jones or the coaching staff or the scheme. Today's game was what today's game truthfully was going to be. And when you're outmanned like that, granted, you didn't give them the absolute best punch. We didn't see it today. We saw a Tennessee team in the first half anyway that looked like it was on fumes a little bit, that looked flat, that was giving up plays in the kicking game, and that sort of thing hadn't been happening. They just weren't sharp, and it looked to me like Nick Saban took Tennessee's performance of the last couple of weeks, got the attention of his kids, and Alabama threw their A game at Tennessee today. And we're going to talk about that as Tennessee Saturday night rolls on. Bino Jeff Henderson is there. I'm here. 865-200-5402. We'll put you there. Travis will lead things off in the U Zone as we continue with more on the other side. Tennessee Saturday night after this.
Spread the word and get the app at TonyBasilio.com for Android and iPhones.
Dalton Bearing and Hydraulics is your charter sponsor for Tennessee Saturday night. So support these folks who offer millions of hydraulic cylinders, pumps, motors, valves, custom cylinders, custom power units, and more. Dalton Bearing and Hydraulics is your #1 Prince distributor with over $1 million in inventory, with Cross Red Lion, and always selling thousands of all types of bearings, chain sprockets, and chains, etc., etc., etc. Check them out at DaltonHydraulic.com and see the full catalog of everything Dalton Bearing and Hydraulics has to offer. And yes, we ship to every state and also worldwide shipping available. Remember, they're our charter sponsor, so please hit the website at DaltonHydraulic.com. Dalton Bearing and Hydraulics, Granger County, Tennessee. Proud charter sponsor of Tennessee Saturday night. And a big thanks and a Yoshi-ho-ho to Randy Dalton and Dalton Bearing and Hydraulics. DaltonHydraulic.com.
Tailgating season is here, and whether you're heading to the Hill or to your favorite high school stadium, Calhoun's can take food right off your checklist. Nothing goes better with football than barbecue, and Calhoun's Hickory Smoke Barbecue is legendary. That's why you should stop by one of the 7 East Tennessee Calhoun's on your way to the game and pick up a Feed 5 or Feed 10 family pack. It's a tailgate party in a box. Start with Calhoun's Hickory Smoke Barbecue. Add the buns, Smoky Mountain baked beans, and creamy coleslaw, and you've got a meal that will satisfy any hungry fan. Calhoun's even throws in the plates, napkins, and utensils in an easy-to-carry box. So even the walk from the parking lot to your favorite tailgate spot is a breeze. Just call ahead or go online for the Bearden Hill and Kingston Pike at Pellissippi Parkway locations, and they'll have it ready and waiting. If your location has curbside pickup, they'll even bring it to the car. And did I mention, it only costs about $4 a person. The Feed 5 and Feed 10 family packs from Calhoun's, one of the Copper Cellar family of restaurants. Eat local, eat good.
If you or a loved one is injured in an accident, your first priority is taking care of them. As the chaos of the moment ends, you need legal advice. What about the medical bills, lost time from work? What happens long term and what happens next? You're going to have questions, and you're going to need advice. Honest advice that the Garza Law Firm can offer about what to do next. Don't think you can handle this on your own, because the other folks, the insurance companies, they have their lawyers ready to go. There are talented and trained people at the Garza Law Firm who can answer your questions. At the Garza Law Firm, they treat your case like their own family. You're not just another case. Former Marine Marcos Garza and his team will fight for your rights and for what you deserve in your time of need, as if it were their family's case. So take care of your family. Make sure they're going to be okay.
Hey, is this Eddie's Auto? Yeah, it's Ed. Well, who's this here? It's Ed. Well, it's Bill Morgan up here just this side of Maryville. Yeah. Listen, I bought a oil filter off of you here a while back, and I believe my car's blowed up now. And, well, they told me to take it down there and just you'd pay for it. Pay for what? Pay for the motor. Who told you that? They told me at Maryville. They did. They said, if you don't, whoop you.
At B&M Tires, they won't blow your motor up. They stand behind what they sell. You won't have to ask for your money back. And at B&M Tire, they get to know their customers well. And no one yet had to go back down there and whoop anybody. That's B&M Tire.
So you gonna pay for it? I ain't paying for it. I already know you know what you're talking about. Huh? It's an oil filter. I bought it off of you fair and square. Don't you stand behind what you sell? I'll be down there for the day. I'll be right here. Huh? You keep on. I'll be there. You just come right on.
Joe White at Benny Roberts. They take the cuss out of customer service. It's B&M Tire.
Huh? Somebody could get whooped over this.
Tennessee Saturday night with me, Tony Basilio.
Brought to you this hour by Jeff Sweat Investment Services.
I'm always happy to help you with your financial needs. Please call me at 423-566-4000. 566-4000. We feature securities offered through LPL Financial. Call me at 423-566-4000 for tax-advantaged investments. 566-4000. We specialize in stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and IRAs.
Jeff Sweat Investment Services.
423-566-4000. 566-4000.
Did you know Holston Gas's 121 School Street across from Jacksboro Middle School has a service tech on call for you 24/7? And did you know Holston can set you up on summer payments so you don't have those big winter heating bills? No matter who you currently use, Holston can trade out that propane tank. And they can fill customer-owned cylinders too. Plus, Holston fills gas grill tanks for just $14. Have you seen their brand new showroom? Check it out today. Call for more information at 562-7596. Holston Gas is across from Jacksboro Middle School.
The boys are back at Minton's Tire and Service Center. Susie Minton welcomes back Earl, Chuck, and Emmett to Minton's Tires. You missed them, Earl Delk and Chuck Delk and Emmett Lettner. All three of them are now back at Minton's Tire and Service Center. Susie says Minton's sells tires, but it is also a full service center for your vehicle, from oil changes to tune-ups and everything in between. Minton's Tires and Service Center continues its tradition of quality tires, sales, and extra special service you've been accustomed to over the years. Next time you're by, tell Susie Minton you heard her ad here on WLAF. Minton's Tire and Service Center on the 4-lane near Lowe's.
Now is the time to experience Beltone's newest digital technology at no cost or obligation. Beltone is conducting in-office trials of their state-of-the-art hearing aids. After your free hearing analysis, you'll be asked to evaluate sound, comfort, and cosmetic appearance.
Call Beltone in La Follette, 423-201-4600, 201-4600, 201-4600.
If you love the Big Orange, you'll love Tony Basilio's Tennessee Saturday Night. I'm Tony Basilio, and you're listening to my radio station, 1450 WLAF.
Ticketservice.com.
Tennessee Saturday nights are spent one way, celebrating Big Orange victories. Here's Tennessee Saturday Night with Tony Basilio.
And he's just got to do what he's been doing every week, is preparing and just waiting for his number.
And that is the point. As you heard Tiny Richardson there talking about Josh Dobbs and how Dobbs today has to go back out and use today's experience to get better, and who knows what's going to happen at the quarterback position. But that kid today, I thought, did himself proud, Bino. I was really, really impressed with the way Josh Dobbs handled that situation.
Oh, I was too, Tony. I mean, not great numbers. 5 for 12 for 75 yards, ran 3 times for 19 yards, but he certainly gave the offense a spark, and it was obvious Alabama had to contend with the fact that they knew that he could run the football. I thought that he did a really good job in a really tough situation.
865-200-5402, and we try to pick up the pieces of what was just an absolute thrashing today down in Tuscaloosa. And I don't know how many more of these we have before we get back, but we just have to be patient. Just have to be patient. Look back at last week, look ahead to next week, not get too low with this one, not go crazy with this one, because this game was this game was this game. Back to the phones we go at 865-200-5402, and there was very, very little out of today's game that you can really take away and go, yeah, that's something you can hang your hat on, because today's game was just one from a Tennessee perspective. And really even from a perspective of this series, when these two teams play these games through the years, you expect a better contest than what you got today. The fans didn't get their money's worth. As I get Travis in here. Travis, welcome to Tennessee Saturday Night, presented by Dalton Bearing and Hydraulics. Hello, sir.
Tony, Bino, always a pleasure.
Hey, man. Great to hear from you.
Travis.
Couple of points. First, 5 for 12 in the second half there, but I believe he had probably 2 or 3 drops.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Swift, but did not play his best game this afternoon. He couldn't catch the ball. So I think the Dobbs probably threw the ball much better than his stats even indicate. So I'd be interested to see exactly what's going to happen at the quarterback position this week. Secondly, if you want to summarize what we saw this afternoon, you need look no further than the third play from scrimmage when Alabama scored their first touchdown, where they looked at our secondary depth chart and they went, so you're telling me your nickelback is a former walk-on and his backup is a current walk-on. Oh, okay. Well, we're just going to line up with our 5-star wide receivers and we're going to put you in nickel, and then we're going to make your walk-on nickelback tackle our 5-star wide receiver in space. We like our matchup.
And I was surprised Tennessee did that, Travis, to be honest with you. I do not want to criticize Tennessee's coaching staff, but when you take your backers and take them off the field and put those walk-ons on the field, you're going to get what you get. I don't understand why they're doing that. We're so much better as a defense when we just play our base package and try to let us dictate in terms of the matchups. And I know somebody would say, well, Tony, and I'd say to you, well, what's the difference? What is the difference? And then there was another play later on where the same wide receiver, I think that was Cooper, yes?
Yeah, that was Cooper.
Takes the poor kid from Alcoa and hurdles him. Yeah. Literally hurdles him. That's a shame.
And when they scored their touchdown to go 21-0, Swafford was so poorly out of position.
Mm-hmm.
So completely and utterly out of position on that play. He just let the receiver run right past him and into the end zone wide open. So, yeah, our 2 walk-on nickels did not play a very good game. Our defensive line struggled mightily this game. Dan Hood did not have a very good game. I like Dan Hood. I think he gives great effort, but this game is not this matchup especially is not about guys giving great effort. This matchup is about talent versus talent, and we just didn't have the talent.
So well put, especially when Alabama lays the screws to you with the focus that they had. You're Tennessee, you have to play a picture-perfect game, and you need exemplary things to happen. You need weird things to happen, really. You need the fourth quarter of tonight's South Carolina-Missouri game to happen there, and Alabama was just not going to be a participant in that today. They just weren't. I give them credit. They came out there focused, and they buzzsawed us.
But I was happy to see that the team in the second half came out and continued to fight. Dobbs, you can see the talent that's there. It's obvious as soon as he stepped on the field. I don't think we've thrown the ball that deep all season, and we did it twice with him at quarterback in one half. So I think it's obvious, that Dobbs has more talent than Worley. It's just a question about whether or not mentally he's going to be able to pick it up and keep going with it. But his arm strength and his ability to move the pocket and extend plays with his feet is obviously an edge that we can use. So those are my points.
Thank you.
Have a good show, John.
Thank you, T. Great talking to you.
Bino,
your thoughts on what he said. Let's just get this out of the way. The quarterback deal, Bean, in my mind, when you start talking about the quarterback situation, everybody wants to see that backup play, and they always do. And that's human nature. The goal here has to be to get to a bowl game. The coaches cannot get too emotionally involved from the standpoint of, this is what we saw in the second half from Dobbs, because we have to understand, too, and I'm not diminishing what Dobbs did, because there were a couple drops, and his numbers were actually better than they looked, but we have to dial things back here tonight, and I don't know if calling for him is the wise thing to do. What I want to see the coaching staff do is I want them to make the decision that will give this team the best chance to win 6 or 7 games. Whatever that decision is, make that decision. And I am not even pretending to know what that decision is tonight.
No. Tony, the only thing I would say is I believe that Worley has to be pretty close to 100% healthy in order to be the right guy.
Why do you say that?
Well, because he's a game manager that's not particularly gifted skill-wise. I think that he's managed things really well. When he gets to the point to where he loses a little velocity, he can't get the ball where he wants to get it. He has to be healthy. If he's not 100% healthy, then I think Dobbs should play.
Back to the phones we go on a day where Antonio Richardson postgame said, "We'll beat Missouri, I promise you that," after Tennessee gets absolutely annihilated on the road at Alabama, as the Vols still in search of that elusive road win. And Don is up next on Tennessee Saturday Night. Don, hello.
Hey, Tony.
Hey, man.
Hey, do you know how you doing tonight on this, I guess, jury night? But
we're okay, Don.
Hey, guys, I was hoping, optimistic that we knew going in kind of how outmanned we were. But, Bino, to your point, that first pass interception come right after he had re-injured that hand. Yep. Came into the game wrapped up to begin with. And that pass fluttered just exactly like Peterman's did right after he injured his hand. Yep. You can't play quarterback that can't throw the football unless you're just going to line up and run the ball or put Pig Howard back there or bring A.J. in and run the package. You just can't. So, I'd tell you the guy that might be kicking himself right now is Riley Ferguson because he probably would have been the next guy in, but he was injured. But I wanted to ask you about a play because it's obvious, as Tony has said, no use discussing the game much. The play in the fourth quarter where A.J. Johnson strips the ball and it flies up in there and we pick it out. How do you have a meeting and decide forward progress is over when they didn't blow the whistle but Tennessee had the ball going the other way?
I totally agree with that. To me, Don, if there's no whistle, now I do think in that play there should have been a whistle.
Yeah, there should have. There weren't.
But that's not the point. You're precisely exactly right. If there is no whistle, I'm just glad that wasn't a costly play, but that's
right.
Part and parcel of the mystifying officiating that we see not only in the SEC but in college football across the board. And that's a sad thing because it diminishes the game.
I agree. And, Alabama, there was a big deal I read about the fact they had no penalties and how perfect they played last week at Arkansas. And, they had that one streak a few years ago.
Hey, Don, stay right there. Stay right there. Hold your thought for me. Hold your thought. 1 minute.
Tony B here for Pop's Wine and Liquor, Powell, Tennessee's friendliest liquor store. Pop serves North Knoxville with the largest liquor store, offering a wide selection of wines and liquors at the most competitive prices in town. So whether you're looking for the perfect wine for collecting, that special dinner, wedding, party planning, or wine for everyday consumption, Pop's staff will give you the perfect suggestion. David at Pop's Wine and Liquor invites all his Campbell County friends to stop in for the best prices. Only a few minutes drive down I-75 off Emory Road. Pop's Wine and Liquor.
Real Tennessee hickory smoked meats and all the fixins. Got you thinking? Well, if you're thinking like I'm thinking, then you're thinking about KP's Barbecue. Real Tennessee hickory smoked meats and all the fixins. Keith Phillips with KP's Barbecue is ready to cater your next event on the tailgate, at the park, at the church, at the reunion. Get the idea? No event is too big for KP's Barbecue. Did you know that KP's can feed 25 people for a total of $75? Call 423-494-1795. And when Keith gets out from behind the smoker, he'll call you back. 494-1795.
Thanks for following the Cougars over WLAF.
Don, get back in here because I think you're making a point that needs to be made. And here's the thing. It's not worth it whining and moaning about officiating. It's not. But say what you're going to say because I think I know where you're going to go.
Okay, a few years ago, Alabama went like the whole season without any holding calls. On the fumble that Alabama had at our 1 or 2 yard line, did you guys watch the replay? We have one guy in position to make a tackle, and Alabama, one of their receivers that was blocking, he had a handful of jersey with his right hand and a face mask with his left hand, and the official was 4 feet away. No call. So no fumble, they're sitting there at our 1 yard line getting a punch in. Alabama's too good. They don't need all that help.
You go back and look at their third touchdown tonight, and people are going to call me a total crybaby. Bino, did you see the takedown from their tackle on our end who had their tackle beat and gets absolutely horse-collared, not from behind but from the front, just bullwhip to the ground, just an absolute takedown to the ground. And there's not only is there no call, but there's no Gary Danielson. They have all these people conditioned into talking about how well coached they are and well disciplined they are, and they regularly do those things, Don, and they get away with them. Bino, am I saying things, or is that, or on that touchdown, was that just a complete takedown?
Listen, guys, I'm almost 60 years old, and they're both great programs. But for my entire life, there's been a different flag thrown for Alabama than everybody else, and there's been a different whistle for Kentucky in basketball.
I agree. I mean, you see it over and over, and I got hammered on another show tonight for bringing that up. Wasn't excusing, wasn't saying Tennessee was going to win the game. My point is, take the touchdown, one of the touchdowns that Alabama scored, where the guy obviously didn't score, and it was overruled, which is a miracle. And then Tennessee scores an obvious touchdown, and it takes another overrule because the linesman runs in there and sets the ball down at the 1 foot line. And it's not even close to not being a touchdown. That's what I'm talking about. And this is not just against us. LSU's going to get some of that in a couple of weeks. Everybody gets that when they play Alabama. And just like you said, Bino, when it's Kentucky. If they're that great, and they are, they don't need all that help is my only point. Why cheat for them? And
Don, I believe it's like great hitters in baseball that get a break.
Yeah, it's a ball or a strike based on whether you're great.
It's their reputation. But Alabama is the only team in this league that would have retained possession on that play.
That is so true. And, Don, thank you for the call. I appreciate it, man. Great talking with you. And I'm not going to poo-poo that, and I'm certainly not going to attack you, because the truth is that's the truth. And we look at the facts here. Here are the facts. Tennessee was never going to win that game today. They can play that game 10 times. Alabama beats Tennessee 10 times. Now, are all 10 that ugly? Probably not, because Alabama and a couple of them will play down to you, and, you know, they won't be sharp. What happened today was Tennessee was dull and looked a little tired after the last couple of emotional times out there on the football field and just didn't have it. And Alabama was fired up, focused, and prepared, to quote the former head coach here, who started this long losing streak to them back several years ago. And of course, I'm talking about Philip Fulmer. But if you want to get in with us tonight, our number is 865-200-5402. And here's the deal on this show. We're up with you. It's a little late in the Eastern Time Zone. Bino and myself are here with you tonight. We want to talk about this program. We want to talk about where we are. Are you concerned for the rest of the season with what you saw today? Or are you of the mindset that it's a mulligan? What do you do if you're Butch Jones in terms of with the quarterback position? Do you agree with Bino that Worley has to display to you that he's healthy, that he can put some zip on the ball? Bino, that throw he made before halftime was really kind of sad, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I mean, he's a tough kid, Tony. He went out there and tried to play hurt today, but he has to be able to make all the throws. And he's like a baseball pitcher that's only a fastball pitcher. You lose a few miles an hour, you lose your effectiveness, and that's what happens to him. He has to be at his full strength in order to help this football team.
And one other thing from today's game, and I know some people get all emotional about this, I didn't see a lot of quit in Tennessee today. I didn't see Tennessee throw their hands up and say, we don't belong here, we can't do this, warm the bus up, we're going to go through the motions. I mean, they just got trounced by a team that's just hat on hat better across the board. And the truth is, in the SEC right now, there is 10 to 12 teams that are pretty equal, and then there's Alabama. And maybe LSU is there, and maybe Georgia was there earlier in the year when they were hungry. But for everybody else, anybody else can beat anybody else in any given week, at any given time, at any given point on the schedule, with the exception of Kentucky. Everybody else in this league can sneak up and beat you. You have a problem with that, Bean?
No, not a problem at all, Tony. We talked about it yesterday. I believe this league is getting ready to be a total free-for-all with the exception of Alabama. And when you look at today's game, Tony, the truth is Alabama is as good as they've ever been. In their storied history, they're as good as they've ever been. And we're about as average roster-wise as we've ever been. So today is what you get.
Yep. Today was going to happen. And we all wanted to believe. And you know what? I have no problem with belief. I love belief. I love belief. Because belief in sports can carry you. But the reality is it can only carry you so far when you walk out there with a team that's that physically talented. And we'll talk about it on Tennessee Saturday Night as we continue with more after this.
Spread the word and get the app at TonyBasilio.com for Android and iPhones.
Dalton Bearing and Hydraulics is your charter sponsor for Tennessee Saturday Night. So support these folks who offer millions of hydraulic cylinders, pumps, motors, valves, custom cylinders, custom power units, and more. Dalton Bearing and Hydraulics is your #1 Prince distributor with over $1 million in inventory, with Cross Red Lion, and always selling thousands of all types of bearings, chain sprockets, and chains, etc., etc., etc. Check them out at DaltonHydraulic.com and see the full catalog of everything Dalton Bearing and Hydraulics has to offer. And yes, we ship to every state and also worldwide shipping available. Remember, they're our charter sponsor, so please hit the website at DaltonHydraulic.com. Dalton Bearing and Hydraulics, Granger County, Tennessee. Proud charter sponsor of Tennessee Saturday Night. And a big thanks and a Yoshi-ho-ho to Randy Dalton and Dalton Bearing and Hydraulics. DaltonHydraulic.com.
If you or a loved one is injured in an accident, your first priority is taking care of them. As the chaos of the moment ends, you need legal advice. What about the medical bills, lost time from work? What happens long term and what happens next? You're going to have questions, and you're going to need advice. Honest advice that the Garza Law Firm can offer about what to do next. Don't think you can handle this on your own, because the other folks, the insurance companies, they have their lawyers ready to go. There are talented and trained people at the Garza Law Firm who can answer your questions. At the Garza Law Firm, they treat your case like their own family. You're not just another case. Former Marine Marcos Garza and his team will fight for your rights and for what you deserve in your time of need, as if it were their family's case. So take care of your family, make sure they're going to be okay.
The following is an actual recorded telephone call.
That's right. Well, I bought a rim here. It's been about 8 months ago, and this must have been crooked, but it's wore my tar down to nothing. And I'm going to have to get me a new tar out the deal and a new rim, and possibly a realignment job. And but I want you to pay for a new tar and rim realignment. Well, somebody's going to pay for the thing.
Ed Roy Mullins just known about being in tire of Jacksboro. All this could have been avoided. Joe White, Benny Roberts, they take the cuss out of customer service. It's B&M Tire.
You saying you ain't gonna pay? I ain't gonna pay. Somebody could get whooped over this.
Tell your neighbor you heard it on WLAF La Follette.
Did you know Holston Gas's 121 School Street across from Jacksboro Middle School has a service tech on call for you 24/7? And did you know Holston can set you up on summer payments so you don't have those big winter heating bills? No matter who you currently use, Holston can trade out that propane tank, and they can fill customer-owned cylinders too. Plus, Holston fills gas grill tanks for just $14. Have you seen their brand new showroom? Check it out today. Call for more information at 562-7596. Holston Gas is across from Jacksboro Middle School.
Stream us online, 1450WLAF.com.
Basilio here from my friends at Cash and Carry Building Supply in La Follette. Everybody knows JB and Kippy Leach have been Tennessee Vol fans for a long, long time. And you likely know that Cash and Carry Building Supply is your locally owned building supply store for all Campbell County. Right now, save on vanity and bath cabinets, 20% off. That's at your locally owned and operated building supply store, Cash and Carry Building Supply, on South Indiana Avenue in La Follette. Yep, same place it's been for more than 25 years, Cash and Carry Building Supply, South Indiana Avenue in La Follette.
You select the roof, we'll install it. We're your locally owned roofing company. We're Valley Roofing. We're located right here in La Follette in the old Woodson Shopping Center, and we specialize in quality metal roofing and quality shingles, and of course, all at reasonable prices. Here at Valley Roofing, we're insured and bring more than 25 years of experience to your job site. Whether you live right here in town or in a surrounding community, we'll be there. We're Valley Roofing, 423-566-6561. 566-6561.
This is Campbell County High School head football coach Justin Price, and this is my radio station, 1450 WLAF.
After midnight. The tradition continues at All-Star Awards. The old Al Carl Rutherford founded All-Star Awards years ago. Nowadays, Carl's son David carries on the tradition his father started at All-Star Awards. In addition to the classiest trophies and plaques at the most reasonable prices, All-Star Awards now does printed T-shirts and does lamination. Look for David and All-Star Awards in the A-frame that's across the street from the Sonic in West La Follette, or give him a call at 423-562-6761.
This is Cougar head football coach Justin Price. This season, see and hear all the fun and excitement of Campbell County High School football on the WLAF Sports Network.
Tennessee Saturday night. It's Fandemonium from the Tri-Cities to Memphis and all parts in between. Hosted by the Dean of Knoxville Sports Talk Radio, Tony Basilio.
I'm keeping my head up. Keep your head up. Keep your head up. 865-200-5402. Tonight's game, hey, you're going to get them. You are going to get these games along the way. It's part of that rebuilding process. Hey, brick by brick. Sometimes those bricks come through your window, Bino. And today we had one right through the window, right onto the living room floor, buddy.
Yeah, Tony, this team is one game ahead of where I thought that they would be.
And that's good. Let's keep it.
I thought they would be 3-5 at this point, and they're 4-4. Now the win over South, I thought all along this is a 5 or 6 win football team. And the win over South Carolina didn't change that, and neither did the loss today.
And today, Antonio Richardson says, we'll beat Missouri, I promise you that. And he said that post-game before Missouri blew a 17-point lead. I would say tonight, Antonio Richardson will have some company around the country, and this week he will have some company of people who will think that Antonio Richardson has a good point, that Tennessee will, in fact, beat Missouri, because Missouri has to be entirely deflated after giving up a 17-point fourth-quarter lead. Can you imagine the impact as we get Big Bo in here, followed by Justin? But Big Bo will join us first. Big Bo, hello.
Hey, hello, Tony, Bino. I appreciate the forum. You guys do a great job. I'm really enjoying the show.
Great to be with you.
Yeah, I just had a couple comments, and I'll hang up. But, I just don't want the Big Orange faithful to get too down on this team. We had a big challenge in front of us today. And, to your point, Tony, you've always said, let's keep the games in front of us. And, the game got out of hand today. And that's going to happen against a team like Alabama. They're a great football team. And, we had a big challenge in front of us. It was an emotional game coming off the victory of South Carolina last week. So, hey, it got away from us. But I've always maintained, since looking at that schedule back in August, this is a 4-game season from here on out. Auburn, Missouri, Vandy, Kentucky. That's what's going to define this team. And I just don't want the Big Orange faithful to get too down. So, hey, let's roll up our sleeve. Let's get back to work. Let's take down Missouri. Let's take down Auburn. These teams here are coming out. Let's get to a bowl game. In my opinion, Butch Jones done a great job. It's all about getting to a bowl game. Let's get that extra practice time in. And, that's what I'm looking for from here on out. So, today stunk. It is what it is. But, I'm not going to get too down on it. So, again, Bino, Tony, thanks for being there tonight. Enjoyed the show. You guys do a great job, and go Big Orange.
Thank you, man. Great call. And specifically, if you take the next 2 games, I would take a split, which means you'd be 1-3 in that stretch of Bama, Missouri, Auburn. I would take a split all day long. That puts you in a 1-game situation to get to a bowl game. You got to go 1 for 2 in your last 2. Bino, I'll take that to the house. If you want to make me a deal tonight, I'll make a deal with you. I'll take one of the next 2. Does that make me an outcome-based, find the 7 in the triangle goofball because I tell you that? Am I settling for less because I tell you I'll go 1 for 2 gladly in the next 2 weeks?
Absolutely not, Tony. I would certainly take that. You're talking about playing 2 ranked teams. I'll take a split. We lost 19 in a row to ranked teams. You think I'm not going to take 1 out of 2?
Great point. Back to the phones we go. Justin is up next with us. Justin, it's a great Tennessee Saturday night, and thank you for spending part of it with us this evening.
Tony B., it's
Great to hear your voice.
Man, it's great to talk to you tonight. And boy,
How you doing? How are you, brother?
wasn't that brutal today, Brud?
It was. I'd like to start off first with a lot of your callers like nicknames. Justin's a boring name. Everyone born in the 80s was named Justin, so I'd like to give myself a nickname of Swinger Dave.
Well, you can certainly have whatever nickname you want to come with tonight, Justin.
You like that, Bino?
Justin,
Bino loves that name. Let's carry on. Let's go to let's talk about this game. Tony, those guys in Vegas that place the line for these games, they don't do that for their health, and they don't do that because they're fans. They do that because they know what's going to happen. If they screw up week after week, then they find themselves in an unemployment line. Alabama was a 28-point favorite tonight, and as a fan of Tennessee, and after last week, I thought, 28 points? You've got to be kidding me. We are going to go in there and lose by 10 at the most. But those guys showed us again and again and again that they know what they're doing. This was like, we might as well have been playing the Denver Broncos today. We had no business in the Georgia game, we had no business in the South Carolina game, and we had no business in today's game.
That is exactly right. And here's the difference between Alabama and those other teams. Alabama was hungry, they were healthy, and they were focused. And those are two things that the last two teams Tennessee played, they could not say they were all three of those things. They might have been two of the three. That Alabama team today came out from the opening kick razor sharp. And when a team like that is razor sharp, Justin, they are going to cut you. And that's exactly what they did tonight. They cut us into pieces in that first half. You know, there were points in that first half, guys, where we couldn't get a first down offensively. And at the same time, they didn't punt the ball. They did not punt till the second half.
There was a stat, I don't remember what quarter they threw it up, but it was up on the screen. It said we had 16 plays and Alabama had 15 first downs.
That's right.
We had 16 offensive plays and they had 15 first downs. Well, I mean, the thing about it is that we do not have. Last week, as much as I loved it, and it was emotional, and it was unbelievable, and that's what it was. It was unbelievable. We do not have Alabama talent on this team currently. I believe he's working his way to that. But right now, we do not have, as hard as that is to hear, you know, I bleed orange, and I thought, 28 points, you guys are out of your mind. I put money on Tennessee all day. And they flat out showed us, you guys don't have the talent that Alabama has. And we don't. You can't argue that. You know, even the biggest homers who want to sit and think, we could have won that game. We could not have won that game. You said earlier, 10 out of 10 times we lose 10 out of 10.
And that's why we all have to put this in perspective.
Yeah,
and we have to say, what is the season about?
Game.
That's exactly right. It's the Oregon game. That's exactly right.
Let's get right past this game. This game was a loss when the season started. Everyone said, well, we're going to lose that one. We're going to lose to Oregon. We're going to lose this one. So there's no reason to get down about it. We all knew we were going to lose.
And that's why I think Butch Jones with this whole thing of snap and clear, I mean, he sounds like he sounds like a Scientologist with that, but there's a lot of truth to that snap and clear stuff with regards to you have got to, when you're where we are as a program, from play to play, you have to learn to forget. From game to game, you have to learn to forget. I thought there was a little bit of hangover from that Oregon game because there was no belief, as Butch Jones said last week. Now these guys know, hey, we can beat a ranked team. If we hang in there, we can beat a ranked team. If we stay together, we can make plays. It's not going to happen against a team the caliber of Alabama. It can happen against a team the caliber of Missouri next week. It really can.
Absolutely.
Because Missouri's hurting now. Missouri's hurting.
I think I sent you a tweet that said there are positives to come out of this game, and hashtag the glass is half full. I look at it half full, and there were some positives. Positive is we scored our first touchdown against Alabama since Lane Kiffin was here.
There you go.
And Clay Travis, which is an idiot, in my own opinion, my humble opinion, I don't like the guy. However, he sent a tweet out earlier that said, I thoroughly believe that Nick Saban took it easy on Derek Dooley.
Oh, I don't think there's any question about that. I appreciate your phone call. Thank you. I appreciate your phone call. I think Nick Saban takes it easy on a lot of people. Bino, 10 seconds. You believe that, don't you?
Tony, I just believe he's one of the few guys. You know, we hear that you can't get your team up every week. Somehow he does it. And these BCS rankings...
Dalton Bearing and Hydraulics is your charter sponsor for Tennessee Saturday night. So support these folks who offer millions of hydraulic cylinders, pumps, motors, valves, custom cylinders, custom power units, and more. Dalton Bearing and Hydraulics is your #1 Prince distributor with over $1 million in inventory, with Cross Red Lion, and always selling thousands of all types of bearings, chain sprockets, and chains, etc., etc., etc. Check them out at DaltonHydraulic.com and see the full catalog of everything Dalton Bearing and Hydraulics has to offer. And yes, we ship to every state and also worldwide shipping available. Remember, they're our charter sponsor, so please hit the website at DaltonHydraulic.com. Dalton Bearing and Hydraulics, Granger County, Tennessee. Proud charter sponsor of Tennessee Saturday Night. And a big thanks and a Yoshi-ho-ho to Randy Dalton and Dalton Bearing and Hydraulics. DaltonHydraulic.com.
If you or a loved one is injured in an accident, your first priority is taking care of them. As the chaos of the moment ends, you need legal advice. What about the medical bills, lost time from work? What happens long term and what happens next? You're going to have questions, and you're going to need advice. Honest advice that the Garza Law Firm can offer about what to do next. Don't think you can handle this on your own, because the other folks, the insurance companies, they have their lawyers ready to go. There are talented and trained people at the Garza Law Firm who can answer your questions. At the Garza Law Firm, they treat your case like their own family. You're not just another case. Former Marine Marcos Garza and his team will fight for your rights and for what you deserve in your time of need, as if it were their family's case. So take care of your family, make sure they're going to be okay, then call.
Tony B here for Pop's Wine and Liquor, Powell, Tennessee's friendliest liquor store. Pop serves North Knoxville with the largest liquor store, offering a wide selection of wines and liquors at the most competitive prices in town. So whether you're looking for the perfect wine for collecting, that special dinner, wedding, party planning, or wine for everyday consumption, Pop's staff will give you the perfect suggestion. David at Pop's Wine and Liquor invites all his Campbell County friends to stop in for the best prices. Only a few minutes drive down I-75 off Emory Road. Pop's Wine and Liquor.
When you're ready to build, remodel, or even build an in-ground pool, just call Billy Paul and say when. Your dreams of a brand new home can come true. All it takes is a call to Billy Paul. 423-912-6899. Now, if you already have your dream home, maybe you'd like an addition or a remodel kitchen, master bath, or bedroom. All it takes is a call to Billy Paul. 423-912-6899. Ever thought about a gift for the entire family? How about an in-ground swimming pool from Paul Construction? That's the answer. All it takes is a call to Billy Paul. 423-912-6899. Billy and his crew have years of experience as well as a long list of satisfied customers. Paul Construction, owned by a former Cougar, Billy Paul.
Paving, sealing, striping. The Boshears paving tradition continues. Parking lots, driveways, playgrounds. The Boshears paving tradition continues. Doug Boshears continues the family tradition of outstanding parking lot, driveway, and playground sealing and paving the Boshears family began many, many years ago. Now's the time to call Boshears Paving to bring your project to life. Go ahead and give Doug a call right now at 562-2162 or 871-0718.
This is Calvin Tonks with Senior Citizen Insurance, and you're listening to my radio station, 1450 WLAF.
Real Tennessee hickory smoked meats and all the fixins. Got you thinking? Well, if you're thinking like I'm thinking, then you're thinking about KP's Barbecue. Real Tennessee hickory smoked meats and all the fixins. Keith Phillips with KP's Barbecue is ready to cater your next event on the tailgate, at the park, at the church, at the reunion. Get the idea? No event is too big for KP's Barbecue. Did you know that KP's can feed 25 people for a total of $75? Call 423-494-1795. And when Keith gets out from behind the smoker, he'll call you back. 494-1795.
Did you know Holston Gas's 121 School Street across from Jacksboro Middle School has a service tech on call for you 24/7? And did you know Holston can set you up on summer payments so you don't have those big winter heating bills? No matter who you currently use, Holston can trade out that propane tank. And they can fill customer-owned cylinders too. Plus, Holston fills gas grill tanks for just $14. Have you seen their brand new showroom? Check it out today. Call for more information at 562-7596. Holston Gas is across from Jacksboro Middle School.
This is 1450 WLAF, La Follette and East Tennessee's home for
Tennessee Saturday Night with me, Tony Basilio.
Bank LLC.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, for our affiliates down the line, it's an opportunity for them to identify themselves. You're listening to Tony Basilio at TonyBasilio.com on the app. And we welcome you to hour number 2 of Tennessee Saturday Night. On this Saturday night, we're going to go ahead and jump back to our phones. Bino, you know what I did with you time management-wise? That's the equivalent of a quarterback when we last left, throwing the ball to a guy in the middle of the field and just letting him just absolutely get clobbered. The safety came up. The safety of time management, Bino, the safety of the hard clock came up and just cold-cocked you. How did it feel?
Now, Tony, I deserved every bit of it. I've got to learn that on Saturday, 10 seconds is 10 seconds.
Yeah, because when we're doing the show during the week together, 10 seconds in my vernacular means 75 seconds. So, touche, Bino. I appreciate that. You know, I love that. You're there to keep me honest. I'm there to keep you honest. It's been an incredible day in the world of college football. It's been an incredible day in sports. We've got an incredible World Series game going on right now. That we're going to keep company here is we've got 2 teams tied at 4 in the 9th inning. Boston has come back on the Cardinals. Tonight, Missouri saw South Carolina come back on them from 17 points down in the 4th quarter with an injured quarterback. And Vol Colonel of the Tony Basilio radio family compared it to Kirk Gibson in 1988. I don't know if it was that dramatic, Bino, but it was pretty doggone dramatic, wasn't it?
I tell you what, I don't believe what I just saw.
Incredible. And Missouri tonight had the game won. They had a 4th and 14 with a 7-point lead in overtime, 4th and 15, and they let Missouri somehow score a touchdown. That is the kind of loss that will linger over your program. We're going to see how resilient those kids are, because I have a feeling that charged Tennessee up big time. I bet you Tennessee's smelling blood right now in that game.
Let me throw something out here, Tony, real quick. Do you realize Tennessee was a kick bouncing off the upright away from playing 3 top 5 teams on the road? I mean, rebuilding's hard enough. 3 top 5 teams on the road in the same season.
And one consolation, Bino, to what happened tonight, it might have kept us out of the 3:30 slot next week on CBS.
It's the 7 o'clock one, Tony.
865-200-5402. Back to the phones we go, because if we never have another 3:30 game with Gary and those guys are tough to take. Robbie, hello and welcome.
Good evening, John.
Hey, Robbie.
Good morning. Well, I watched my first game all year today, Tone.
And how was it, Robbie?
Painful in the first half. Had some stuff in the second half, some stuff to look forward to out of the younger kids. I think that we've got it. We have to get better play out of our wide receivers to win the 2 more to get us bowl eligible. They sure didn't help Josh Dobbs out in the second half on some throws. That he put some throws right on some people's hands, and they just didn't make plays. So, not that it would have changed the outcome of the game, but it would have been a a little bit better. Those guys have made some catches.
Yeah, I completely agree with that, man. You know, the margin of error is so thin in a game like that. Every little thing you do is going to come back on you. Josh Smith didn't have his best day today. Our receiving corps didn't have their best day, even early on.
No, I think it was also evident on that fourth down that we went for when Worley threw it out there in the flat. The guy had broken off his route and kind of stutter-stepped in towards the middle of the field. He was still short of the first down. It looked pretty obvious that he was supposed to take that route to the outside past the first down marker where the ball ended up. You know, they didn't, and when you're playing, when there's such a disparity in talent, like you said, that it, you know, unless we play perfect technique on a play, we do not have the athletes to cover up for bad technique right now. And if our guys, if we get out of position on a play, like their first touchdown play, the safety took the wrong angle and, you know, they're gone. We just don't have the athletes to catch up with anybody right now. I said, you know, not anybody like Alabama's got, that's for certain.
One bad angle.
Yeah.
One bad angle, and you totally pay the price against those guys.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have, you know, we don't have 5-star guys, super-duper speed like we're used to around here. So, but it was good to see the young boys get in there.
I'll tell you.
Do you guys think Dobbs is going to go from here?
No. I mean, not unless Worley's hurt. I wouldn't expect that. I think they're going to play the guy that they feel like is the guy that's going to help them get to 6 or 7 wins. And I think that was Worley coming into this game. And if Worley's healthy, I think that'll be Worley going forward. I know that's not what our fan base wants. Everybody wants to see the guy that's next and turn the page. I want to go to a bowl game, darn it.
I think that, exactly. I think having an extra month of practice is going to be critical to what Coach Jones is wanting to do. He's got to get those practices in.
Yes.
So, anyhow, love listening to Tennessee Saturday.
Thank you, man.
Have a good one.
Love you, brother.
Jerry been on yet?
He's coming right now. Good talking to you.
All right. I'll be listening.
All right, my friend. 865-200-5402. Bino, any thoughts on that as the Cardinals come back? Actually, they don't come back. They win in the bottom of the 9th inning.
Tony, I thought that you were on the money. I think our receiving corps, hopefully for just one game, took a step back. They've been playing really well, but they went back to having drops like they did early in the year. It certainly wasn't their best game, whether Worley was in there or Dobbs was in there.
Back to the phones we go, 865-200-5402 if you want to get in with us. Yeah, and here's my thing. I'm not cheering for one quarterback or the other. They're all our guys. Dobbs is going to play some football here before it's over. There's no doubt about it. You watched him play today. Hey, he gave a nice account of himself. He was extremely poised out there. I bet you he learned a lot in that situation, in that environment today. You know, they had to take a timeout when he first got in there, and Butch Jones got all over him. And, hey, there are no mulligans out here. You've got to go. You've got to be able to do this in the moment with the game clock when it was winding down, or the play clock, rather. But I thought Dobbs did a really nice job. As we get Jason in here. Yeah. Jason, hello. Welcome.
Hey, Tony. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing great. Thanks for calling Tennessee Saturday Night, presented by Dalton Bearing and Hydraulics.
You know, Tony, I had an observation today. I just noticed we look a little lethargic coming out. Do you think that we don't play as well on the road? What are your thoughts about road games?
Well, you're going to play on the road, you better dial it up.
You've got mail.
I learned that last weekend. South Carolina is a good 10 or so points better than Tennessee on the field, but they didn't dial it up on the road. And on the road, when you make mistakes, things are magnified, and that's exactly what happened to Tennessee today. Our kick coverage left a lot to be desired today, all day long, and Alabama took advantage of that. And the last thing you wanted to do early in that game was give them great field position, because then it was Katie bar the door, Jason. I mean, we just came out in that game today. The bottom line is we were due for that. We were a little bit flat, and Saban obviously got their attention with our film, because we really played well the last couple of games.
I felt the last two games at home, we looked like our hair was on fire the way we played. But today, you're right, we came out flat. He took advantage of it right away. Absolutely right, Tony.
And so then the question becomes, what about next week at Mizzou, Jason? Can Tennessee get a win on the road?
That's my concern.
It sure would be nice. I'll tell you what, you're not going to have a better opportunity than this one. To beat a top 15. Where do you think Missouri will fall, Bino, in the poll?
I think they'll probably fall to around 11 or 12, Tony, somewhere in there. I haven't looked in front of them to see exactly what happened. Most of the favorites won today.
That's right.
I don't believe they'll open the trap door on them, but they'll be outside the top 10, I would think.
And so, Jason, they're sitting there probably 11, 12 in America. Tennessee has a chance to get a team that's a top 15 team on the road who will be, you would have to think, really deflated after what happened to them in their building tonight, losing a 17-point lead.
No, I agree, Tony. I saw that game. A heartbreaker for Missouri. They had that game going to the fourth quarter and blew it.
Yeah, and from a Tennessee point of view, in a sick sense of humor kind of way, you know, like Bino said, when is the last time any team in college football played three top 5 teams on the road? That does not happen, and that would have happened if Missouri would have been able to finish tonight against South Carolina.
You're right. That would have been unreal. Just absolutely unreal.
Not to mention the fact that Auburn's going to get a win next week against Arkansas. They're going to come to Knoxville with what, an 8-1 record, a rather gaudy 8-1 record, thinking Iron Bowl in a couple of weeks and an opportunity to beat Alabama and get to Atlanta. Hey, Auburn's thinking great things. They're thinking special things with their season. So Tennessee's work is far from done. It's going to be a very interesting stretch of games, Jason.
Tony, only 2 things on that Auburn game. At least number 1, we get them at home, and number 2, like you said, we got Tony Robinson in the house. Go Vols.
You better believe it, brother. And when Tony Robinson is in the house, what else do you need to say? Bino, what about us on the road, though? This road win is sort of the next thing that Butch Jones has to do to put Humpty Dumpty back together.
Yeah, it's the next step, Tony, and it's extremely hard when you're outmanned. What we've seen is we've seen great energy, and it even helps you from an endurance standpoint when you're at home because you kind of draw energy from the crowd when you're shorthanded, and that's what we've been able to do at home, especially in the last 2 games. That's just not out there on the road. When you're on the road, you need a whole lot of football players.
This is Tennessee Saturday Night, heard across the state on many great radio stations. I thank all our radio partners. I hope that you'll support the local advertising you hear on their show, and also that you hear from us as a radio network like Dalton Bearing and Hydraulics. Also want to thank the Garza Law Firm for coming on board with us this week as well. And speaking of energy, Jerry Colquitt better provide some energy for us on the other side. I think the last couple of weeks, Bino, you were telling me you thought that he kind of drugged the show down the last couple of weeks. So hopefully he will provide some sort of spark for us this evening on a day when Tennessee goes to Alabama. And in Bino's immortal words, never has the talent gap been as great between Tennessee and Alabama from the Alabama perspective. They might have their best team that maybe they've ever had this year right now. And Tennessee is certainly in one of the dry periods. But this team, even at that, has given us so much to think about already, so much to enjoy, and just so much to talk about. And we'll continue to do that at 865-200-5402. It's Tennessee Saturday Night.
Spread the word and get the app at TonyBasilio.com for Android and iPhones.
Dalton Bearing and Hydraulics is your charter sponsor for Tennessee Saturday Night. So support these folks who offer millions of hydraulic cylinders, pumps, motors, valves, custom cylinders, custom power units, and more. Dalton Bearing and Hydraulics is your #1 Prince distributor with over $1 million in inventory. with Cross Red Lion, and always selling thousands of all types of bearings, chain sprockets, and chains, etc., etc., etc. Check them out at DaltonHydraulic.com and see the full catalog of everything Dalton Bearing and Hydraulics has to offer. And yes, we ship to every state and also worldwide shipping available. Remember, they're our charter sponsor, so please hit the website at DaltonHydraulic.com. Dalton Bearing and Hydraulics, Granger County, Tennessee. Proud charter sponsor of Tennessee Saturday Night. And a big thanks and a Yoshi-ho-ho to Randy Dalton and Dalton Bearing and Hydraulics. DaltonHydraulic.com.
Tailgating season is here, and whether you're heading to the Hill or to your favorite high school stadium, Calhoun's can take food right off your checklist. Nothing goes better with football than barbecue, and Calhoun's Hickory Smoked Barbecue is legendary. That's why you should stop by one of the 7 East Tennessee Calhoun's on your way to the game and pick up a Feed 5 or Feed 10 family pack. It's a tailgate party in a box. Start with Calhoun's Hickory Smoked Barbecue. Add the buns, Smoky Mountain baked beans, and creamy coleslaw, and you've got a meal that will satisfy any hungry fan. Calhoun's even throws in the plates, napkins, and utensils in an easy-to-carry box, so even the walk from the parking lot to your favorite tailgate spot is a breeze. Just call ahead or go online for the Bearden Hill and Kingston Pike and Pellissippi Parkway locations, and they'll have it ready and waiting. If your location has curbside pickup, they'll even bring it to the car. And did I mention, it only costs about $4 a person. The Feed 5 and Feed 10 family packs from Calhoun's, one of the Copper Cellar family of restaurants. Eat local, eat good.
If you or a loved one is injured in an accident, your first priority is taking care of them. As the chaos of the moment ends, you need legal advice. What about the medical bills, lost time from work? What happens long term and what happens next? You're going to have questions, and you're going to need advice. Honest advice that the Garza Law Firm can offer about what to do next. Don't think you can handle this on your own, because the other folks, the insurance companies, they have their lawyers ready to go. There are talented and trained people at the Garza Law Firm who can answer your questions. At the Garza Law Firm, they treat your case like their own family. You're not just another case. Former Marine Marcos Garza and his team will fight for your rights and for what you deserve in your time of need, as if it were their family's case. So take care of your family, make sure they're going to be okay, then call the Garza Law.
Well, I bought a rim here. It's been about 8 months ago, and this must have been crooked, but it's wore my tar down to nothing. And I'm going to have to get me a new tar out the deal and a new rim, and possibly a realignment job. And what do you want me to do? Well, I want you to pay for a new tar and rim realignment. Well, somebody's going to pay for the thing.
Ed Roy Mullins just known about B&M Tire of Jacksboro. All this could have been avoided. Joe White, Benny Roberts, they take the cuss out of customer service. It's B&M Tire.
You saying you ain't gonna pay? I ain't gonna pay. Somebody could get whooped over this.
Real Tennessee Hickory Smoked Meats and all the fixins. Got you thinking? Well, if you're thinking like I'm thinking, then you're thinking about KP's Barbecue. Real Tennessee Hickory Smoked Meats and all the fixins. Keith Phillips with KP's Barbecue is ready to cater your next event on the tailgate, at the park, at the church, at the reunion. Get the idea? No event is too big for KP's Barbecue. Did you know that KP's can feed 25 people for a total of $75? Call 423-494-1795. And when Keith gets out from behind the smoker, he'll call you back. 494-1795.
Listen up, Cougar fans, wherever you are. Bird Screen Printing in their new location is the place to go for all things Cougar. T-shirts, caps, jackets, and much more. If it's got anything to do with your Campbell County Cougars, we've got it at Bird Screen Printing on Central Avenue. Call 562-3044. That's 562-3044 for all your screen printing needs, and especially all things Cougar.
Let our family take care of yours here at Terry's Pharmacy. We're here to help with answers, advice, solutions. Terry's Pharmacy accepts most major insurance companies: Humana, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee, TennCare, AARP, Caremark, Express Scripts, United Healthcare, Humana, and many more. Count on Terry's Pharmacy for all your prescription and over-the-counter healthcare needs. Terry's helpful, experienced pharmacy staff is here 6 days a week to deliver fast, friendly service when you need it most.
In Jacksboro, we're across from the Eagle Mart. It's one red
Light down toward the interstate from Walmart.
And in La Follette, you've been here for quite a while.
Been at 310 East Central for a long time in La Follette at Red Light number 9.
And Rissa welcomes new pharmacist Kelly Van and Justin Wilson to the team.
Did you know Holston Gas's 121 School Street across from Jacksboro Middle School has a service tech on call for you 24/7? And did you know Holston can set you up on summer payments so you don't have those big winter heating bills? No matter who you currently use, Holston can trade out that propane tank. And they can fill customer-owned cylinders too. Plus, Holston fills gas grill tanks for just $14. Have you seen their brand new showroom? Check it out today. Call for more information at 562-7596. Holston Gas is across from Jacksboro Middle School.
When you see news happen, call us. 423-562-1450. WLAF.
Get your free hearing test today. Call Belltone. 423-201-4600. 201-4600.
You're listening to 1450 WLAF, home of Les Martin and Brent Allen of Just Sports. Every Tuesday and Thursday from 9 to 10. 1450 WLAF.
Tennessee Saturday nights are spent one way, celebrating big orange victories. Here's Tennessee Saturday night with Tony Basilio.
Or licking our bumps after a game like today. But you know what? We're alive, we're here. Some of us are at this hour are well. Some of us aren't. But it's 19 past the hour. It's a great time to be here. 865-200-5402 if you want to get in with us. Let's bring former Vol quarterback Jerry Colquitt in with us now. Jerry, you've got family in Alabama. These Alabama games, man, I mean, this just has to stop. And I don't know if it's going to stop anytime soon, but it has to stop at some point.
What year are you looking, Chief?
2025? I don't know.
Yeah, the part about today's game, it's, if you were looking at this schedule back in the summer or even early September, you were looking at the schedule, this was just a game that we just had to play. Now, really, in the big picture, what does it mean? Probably not a whole lot, but it was a game that we just have to play because it's on the schedule. We were going to have to do everything just right. They were going to have to play a bad game, which we knew they weren't going to do, knowing that Tennessee had two really good games coming into this one. That Saban was going to have them really focused. So it's almost like one of those ones where, you know what I mean, like you just want to fast forward from what we saw today and get on to Missouri.
So let's do that. The bottom line is Alabama was hungry, they were focused, and they were healthy. And Bino, our last two opponents coming into this game, the Alabama game, could not say that. They could not say that. And Alabama could.
No, not only that, Tony, with we happened to go there when the week that they released the BCS standings, and you've got three teams that are not going to have a letdown because they're going to play for style points from this point on.
That's a great point. So Alabama said, hey, we're going to discard you, and we're going to discard you quickly today. We're not even going to let you think. Or the pollsters think.
Florida State today, Tony, they had a classic sandwich game. They got NC State in between games with Clemson and Miami, and just were focused as they could be, just destroyed.
Jerry, that Oregon team that you know and love out there on the West Coast, you're so high on them. Based on what you saw with Alabama today, what you've seen with Florida State, where would you put Oregon in that mix if you had a vote?
I would say Florida State and Oregon are more alike. Alabama's
they're just complete. You know, you and I were talking during the game, and the one thing I totally agree with you during the game is when you look at them, they can play any style on offense. They can play a power game. They can spread you out and run it. You know, from that look as well. And they got a quarterback who's seasoned and a wide receiving core that's as good as any in the nation. And then on the defensive side, it's hard to make a first down, Tony. And that, to me, is the difference in their team versus those other two teams. You know, when you get whoever ends up playing Florida State or Oregon, you know, down the road here, it's going to be about stops. Alabama is the only team at the top in that top 5 list that actually can get more stops than any of those other teams when it counts. So if you're talking about who's the favorite going forward, it's got to be Bama because they're the one that has the defense with the offense, in my opinion.
If you guys had a shot, Bino, if you had a team and you're looking at, as we talk about the country at large here on Tennessee Saturday night, if you had a choice between Florida State and Oregon, Bino, I know Oregon's going to have a chance to help themselves scheduling-wise here coming up with the power of their league in some league games, and they took one step today in taking a 14-14 game and blowing UCLA out from the middle of the third quarter on. Just an impressive pedal-to-the-metal type performance from them in the second half. Bino, where are you going, Florida State or Oregon?
Tony, I'm going Oregon just simply because they've been there knocking on the door so many years in a row, and this Florida State team has taken a giant leap. And I know it's only 1 year that we're talking about, but I would go Oregon first based on the strength of the decade.
A legacy choice.
Yeah.
Jerry, today, Missouri was in that unbeaten conversation. They had a 17-point fourth quarter lead, and they blew it. And that's a game, and I tweeted earlier, welcome to the SEC, and some Missouri fans got mad at me. But I truly mean that. I don't think they understood what I meant. What I mean is, hey, fellow SEC member, we feel your pain. That sucks. You had your heart ripped out. Get ready for many more of these because you're not in the Big 12 anymore. And this is what playing in the Southeastern Conference is. You better, if you're going to win in this league and win championships, you better get lucky every once in a while in a game like that, and you better finish. You have to finish in this league, or you will not win games like that. That was a tough, valuable lesson for them to learn tonight, Jerry.
That's right, East Coast. You know, we harped on this all week. We said, hey, put the brakes on Missouri. Now, I still like them as a ball team. You know, I think they got a very good team still, and especially when it comes to being able to compete in the SEC East as a representative going to Atlanta. But we all said, hey, you know, their schedule is backloaded. So did we know what they even had before tonight? Not necessarily, because they don't really only played one, you know, quality opponent really in Georgia. You know, so my thing on them was, hey, let's wait, you know, through this month, and then let's give them a true grade, so to speak.
Yeah, and so Tennessee will go there next week. And this has to be a pick-me-up for the Vols, what happened with South Carolina and them. Missouri has to be absolutely stinging, smarting after losing a game like that. It's going to be incredible trying to get up from that. I can't imagine what it must be like to be on that football team and have to get up from that game and face a Tennessee team that is good enough. Tennessee is good enough to go in there next weekend and get them if Missouri doesn't play their game.
Go ahead, Bino.
Well, Jerry, we talked about it earlier. For the first time, somebody will be facing a Missouri team this year that's questioning themselves just a little bit. So, and I don't think they're nearly as good with Matty Mock playing quarterback, obviously, as they would have been with a healthy James Franklin. But once again, we're talking about a Tennessee team that hasn't learned to play at the same level on the road that they do at home.
Jerry, why is that? Why is it so much more difficult for a team like Tennessee's that's challenged a little bit personnel-wise to play on the road?
I think what happened today is, going back to answer your question, the first game, Oregon, I'm still to this day, based on what we saw, Georgia, South Carolina, I have no idea. I'd like to be a fly on the wall and figure out what were they planning, what was their goal going into that game versus what we saw in Georgia, South Carolina, because it's two totally different teams. So we had that road performance. But today, what I think I saw today, I'm about 3/4 way through the game, rewatching it. What I'm seeing today is, I think Alabama they schemed us today. Going through about 6 games here, there are some things, if you've seen Tennessee a few times, you can be hard-headed and, you can play into Tennessee's hands, or you can just get cut right to the chase and, do some of the things that Tennessee can't do real well, which is today I saw Alabama kept them in that nickel personnel, and Tennessee refused to not substitute, like we talked about, keeping the base defense out there, keeping the 3 linebackers out there for most of the game.
And Bino, Jerry's been singing that all year. And, Jerry, when you talk about that, me and Bino are kind of over here, we're kind of having a little laugh and a snicker. But the truth is, we keep the linebackers on the field. And I don't mean to talk over you there, Jerry, but that truly is Tennessee's best group. And we saw it today. I mean, it was
Tony B here for Pop's Wine and Liquor, Powell, Tennessee's friendliest liquor store. Pop serves North Knoxville with the largest liquor store, offering a wide selection of wines and liquors at the most competitive prices in town. So whether you're looking for the perfect wine for collecting, that special dinner, wedding, party planning, or a wine for everyday consumption, Pop's staff will give you the perfect suggestion. David at Pop's Wine and Liquor invites all his Campbell County friends to stop in for the best prices. Only a few minutes drive down I-75 off Emory Road. Pop's Wine and Liquor.
Hey, this is Travis Thompson with Farmers Insurance. Come on down and see us for all your insurance needs.
Hey, Farmers Insurance has a new location beside Charlie's Pizza in Jacksboro. So go on down and see them today for auto, home, life, business, motorcycle, or recreational insurance. Remember, Travis Thompson takes care of business by taking care of you. Stop by and see us today in our new location beside Charlie's Pizza in Jacksboro. Or give us a call at 423-437-8916.
Look forward to seeing you.
Get your bluegrass fix every night at 6 right here.
Chris and I want to thank you for being with us on the best in bluegrass here at WLAF in La Follette.
As I bring you gentlemen back up here on Tennessee Saturday Night, Jerry Colquitt and Bino the Great. If you want to get in with us, 865-200-5402. Again, 865-200-5402 is how you reach us on Tennessee Saturday Night, as we come to you live and in living color from 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. in the Eastern Time Zone each Saturday night, wrapping up Tennessee and the Southeastern Conference. We even do it on the off weekends here. We're going to do it during basketball season, during recruiting season, and on into the spring as well. So spread the word for us here on Tennessee Saturday Night. As we bring Jerry Colquitt and Bino the Great back in. Bino, we laughed and snickered at Jerry about that, the base defense. There's no doubt that Tennessee's much better when they keep their original 7 guys on the field with the 2 linebackers.
Jerry's been talking about that for a long time, and sometimes I sit here and question, hey, does the old quarterback think that the defensive player can play every snap of every game? But that certainly doesn't explain how Jerron Tony's out there getting blitzed on like the 3rd play from scrimmage.
Incredible. Absolutely. And it was startling because you knew when you saw that, when you saw us go dime early, Alabama was salivating because if you notice what they did in that next series when they came back, They ran the ball at those little guys and said, okay, well, you're going to put them in there. You're going to pick your poison now. You're going to stay in your dime package. First of all, we just exploited you on the perimeter, but now we're going to run the ball at you. And that's what, Jerry, you were talking about a moment ago about Alabama that's just so darn unbelievable in this day and age, is just how complete they are offensively. Because they have not only one running back, they don't have two running backs, they have three backs they can pound it at you with.
Right, and the thing is, too, when we go nickel, I think you misstated it. I think you were talking nickel for the fans who are listening. When we go nickel defense, we put Jaquez Smith in at defensive end, and you got Tony in
Swofford,
Brewer, who's a better football player all around. So what happens is those offensive coordinators know that. They know that Jaquez Smith, against a 315-pound future NFL offensive tackle, that he can't hold up. And he also really does give us a whole lot in terms of pass rush. So we kind of get the worst of both worlds, being not that we can't put pressure on the quarterback when we're in nickel defense, and we can't hold up at the point of attack in the run game on that, I guess, the offense is running to their right side, our defensive left.
We're going to go to the Twittersphere, and by the way, if you want to tweet us tonight, it is, we would love for you to hashtag us at TESN. That's number TESN, hashtag TESN, and we'll read some of your tweets. DCC writes, we've got to get a quarterback ready for next year. I can't take 2 years of Worley. They are clamoring, Jerry, in these parts. Clamoring, Jerry, for perhaps seeing a different quarterback. Where are you on that?
I'm okay with Worley. The guy was out there injured state, just trying to do what he can do, so I'm not going to throw him under the bus. For me, especially with a young group, that the game, every game, the focus has to be, they got to be playing this game through the line of scrimmage, our offensive line in a downhill attack. It's pretty evident when we run between the tackles and downhill, it's a quick hitting tempo type play. Tony, our guys can do that. Marlon Lane can hit that. So can Rajon Neal. If you notice, every time we try to run wide, we never get anything. I just don't think our guys are suited for that kind of a run game, and especially in this conference where the speed laterally is so great. I'm not sure we're getting that much out of it, which affects what's going on at quarterback as well.
Bino,
don't you have to run wide some in order to make this read option work? Don't they have to be thinking wide, even if you don't get yardage out of it? Don't you have to do it some, just like your quarterback needs to run some?
Yeah, I do hear what you're saying. Sometimes just wonder if we can get to it another way, if you guys know what I mean. Like we're in one back so much, and I keep saying, when we're in one back and one tight end, 11 personnel, and you don't have the luxury of having either an extra tight end or a fullback in there, that means those guys are pretty much a one-on-one block against another really good college player. Most of our guys, except for I'd say Tiny Richardson, I'm not sure they can win a one-on-one block that's a lateral type run where it's really just athleticism against athleticism. So I feel like when we are running that kind of a run, Tony, I almost feel like it's a disadvantage for our guys, especially in our conference. When it's a staple, maybe not necessarily like a change-up type run.
Staying in the Twittersphere on Tennessee Saturday night as we take your tweets. Hashtag, ladies and gentlemen, TESN. Bitbrad asks the following. Should we be playing Alabama every year? Right now it hurts us, and as we rebuild, when other Eastern Division teams don't have to. Bino, I throw that at you.
Tony, I'm still an old traditional Contra that grew up with Alabama and Tennessee, and I want them on the schedule every year. It still means that much to me, and we're talking about one football game.
But in this era, and as Tennessee gets to the rebuild, if Saban sticks around down there 5-6 years, it does become inequitable and a disadvantage to have to play them every year because they're the class of the league.
Yeah, there's no question about that, Tommy. But it's still a cyclical league, Tommy, and it still comes and goes.
Jerry, how do you respond to that fan, Bit Brad, and his thought?
I'm with Bino on this one, and I'm going to take the old ball coach's approach on this. You know, when they split the conference in half back in 1992 when I was a sophomore at Tennessee, you know, it took the focus away from Alabama, and what it did was that Alabama is a game for the fans, it's a game for the players, it's a traditional game. So then what it does is it takes the pressure off of having to beat them to go to that conference game, and what it does now is the focus is on the teams in the SEC East, which I think takes more pressure off us to win this game. You know, that's more of just a traditional rivalry type game. So I think it actually helps the fact that, you know, we're in the SEC East and we're playing Alabama, as opposed to if we were in the same division as them and had to play them every year.
But we're not in the same division, and we choose to play them, which is the point. The point is they had a restructuring on the schedule, and I fought vehemently for it on the air as well, and did with Dave Hart, and articulated to Dave Hart that I personally wanted to see Tennessee keep that series, although midway through the first quarter today, I might have been hedging. Hey, guys, I mean, I'm human just like you clowns are. Come on, man, give me a break here. Hey, listen, when we come back, and we're visiting tonight with Bino and Jerry Colquitt, and you can get in with us at 865-200-5402, and I hope that you will on Tennessee Saturday night. Look, I know it's difficult. I know you don't want to talk about it. Hey, to be honest with you, I'd probably rather be asleep right now than talking about what took place today. But when we come back, we're going to talk about where to go with this football team from here, where to go with the quarterback situation, where to go with today's game if you're Butch Jones, how to put this thing in the rearview mirror as quickly as possible, what lessons to learn from this game, and a lot more as we continue on Tennessee Saturday night right after this.
Hey, dude, is that from Hardee's? Yeah, they're buffalo chicken tenders. Let me ask, how do they get the buffalo to marry the chicken? No, dude, they don't have... I mean, seriously, how can a little chicken be all attracted to a big, hairy buffalo? Wait, what? Does this chicken lay big, fuzzy eggs? No, dude. Oh, so the buffalo is the girl. Oh, man, that's a big girl.
Introducing Buffalo Chicken Tenders with Frank's Red Hot Sauce at Hardee's for a limited time participating restaurants. Tasting notes for the Hardee's Buffalo Blue Cheese Thick Burger.
Hey, thank you, Buffalo, New York, for buffalo sauce and blue cheese. Tangy, spicy, vinegary Frank's Red Hot Sauce mixed with creamy, salty, funky blue cheese. Hey, it's tasty enough on a chicken wing. It's a damn revelation when it's on a burger.
The Buffalo Blue Cheese Thick Burger with Frank's Red Hot Sauce and blue cheese crumbles. Only at Hardee's. Eat like you mean it. For limited time participating restaurants. Frank's Red Hot is a registered trademark of Reckitt Benckiser LLC.
Tailgating season is here, and whether you're heading to the Hill or to your favorite high school stadium, Calhoun's can take food right off your checklist. Nothing goes better with football than barbecue, and Calhoun's Hickory Smoked Barbecue is legendary. That's why you should stop by one of the 7 East Tennessee Calhouns on your way to the game and pick up a Feed 5 or Feed 10 family pack. It's a tailgate party in a box. Start with Calhoun's Hickory Smoked Barbecue. Add the buns, Smoky Mountain baked beans, and creamy coleslaw, and you've got a meal that will satisfy any hungry fan. Calhoun's even throws in the plates, napkins, and utensils in an easy-to-carry box. So even the walk from the parking lot to your favorite tailgate spot is a breeze. Just call ahead or go online for the Bearden Hill and Kingston Pike and Pellissippi Parkway locations, and they'll have it ready and waiting. If your location...
Hey, is this Eddie's Auto? Yeah, it's it. Well, it's Bill Morgan up here just this side of Maynardville. Yeah. Listen, I bought a oil filter off of you here a while back, and dude, my car's blowed up now. And, well, they told me to take it down there and just you'd pay for it. Pay for what? Pay for the motor. Who told you that? You forget.
Bill Morgan's just been a regular WLAF listener. He'd have been aware of B&M Tire in Jacksboro. He'd have known they now do oil changes, and he'd know they don't blow your motor up. That's B&M Tires.
So you gonna pay for it? I ain't paying for anything. I don't even know what you're talking about. I'll be down there for the day. Well, I'll be right here. Huh?
B&M Tire.
Somebody could get whooped over this.
What is wrong with this computer? Oh no, not another virus.
Nothing can slow you down more than computer problems. Computer Care is here to help. Computer Care specializes in repairs and service, including data recovery for laptops and desktops with pickup and delivery available. Computer Care also offers networking for small businesses and web designing. They repair iPods and gaming systems too. Visit Computer Care's new location, 2221 Jacksboro Pike, Suite A17 in the Woodson Shopping Center, La Follette, where you can take advantage of free diagnostics and check out their great prices on refurbished computers and laptops. Let Computer Care certified technicians get your computer back up and running today. Visit their website at computercarerepairs.com. Call 423-562-8008 or 423-912-3112 or email service at computercarerepairs.com. Computer Care, Woodson's Mall, La Follette.
Start your day informed with 1450 WLAF.
One name, Maynard. One business, Maynard's Auto Parts. When it comes to taking care of your car, truck, or van, Maynard's Auto Parts covers it all. Why buy new when used will do?
Used parts, aftermarket parts. After all, Maynard's has the best prices and selection. Need a battery, new or used, either way, no one beats battery prices at Maynard's Auto Parts.
Up the valley off Old Middlesboro Highway, turn at Lee's Market, 24-hour towing, rollback, and lockout service. 423-562-3939 or 566-3939. Maynard's Auto Parts, 562-3939.
Good morning, you're on Trading Post.
Yes, sir, good morning. Thanks to the Trading Post, I sold my washer and dryer, my bed, my dresser, and chest of drawers. I sure appreciate you folks.
Hey, thanks.
Looking to buy, sell, or trade something? You placed a call, we put you on the air. The Trading Post, weekday mornings at 8 on 1450 WLAF.
Real Tennessee hickory smoked meats and all the fixins. Got you thinking? Well, if you're thinking like I'm thinking, then you're thinking about KP's Barbecue. Real Tennessee hickory smoked meats and all the fixins. Keith Phillips with KP's Barbecue is ready to cater your next event on the tailgate, at the park, at the church, at the reunion. Get the idea? No event is too big for KP's Barbecue. Did you know that KP's can feed 25 people for a total of $75? Call 423-494-1795. And when Keith gets out from behind the smoker, he'll call you back. 494-1795.
Watch them, listen to them, follow them. The Cougars on WLAF.
He looked okay today, and it's not like Alabama took their foot off the pedal playing against him. He could make throws Justin Worley just cannot make. And I'm sorry, I know the kid's a gamer, and I appreciate that about him. He's coming into a difficult situation. But if this team wants to get bowl eligible, my personal opinion is that Josh Dobbs is the way to go. Either him or Riley Ferguson, because they have the physical tools to do it.
Thoughts, gentlemen?
Go ahead, Jerry. You're the quarterback.
Yeah. My thought on this is this. You know, we're at 4 wins right now. In order for us to get to 6, I feel like we can't mess around and gamble. You know, I don't want to put. There were a lot of things that were going wrong on the sheet I have here as I'm, re-looking through this game here, and I don't want to put this on Worley, because I almost feel like, hey, if tonight wasn't good enough, then are we being hypocrites? Especially the way the guy played the last 2 games. You know what I mean?
But he has
the guy was able to move the football. score points, put points on the board, an injured player in a game like today, and we put that on him, I don't feel comfortable doing that. And I know the team tried to do this a couple of years ago with not playing Matt Sims and going with Worley. Next thing you know, we're not bowl eligible. So I don't feel comfortable taking him out, especially in a situation where a guy was injured, and he got us through that win last week with a hurt thumb.
Steve, respond to that. You were going to say, go ahead.
But he's got a bum thumb, and he can't make the throws. I mean, that is obvious. And if he's not 100%, I mean, he was having trouble making those throws when he's 100%. And now there's no way, you cannot tell me there is any way possible that he's going to be able to throw that ball and grip that ball next week and not be affected by that thumb.
Now, I'll say this.
No way.
I'll say this for Steve's argument, Jerry. And Bino said this earlier in the show, and I think it's right. Because I think we can live in both camps here. I live in your camp, Jerry. I want to see us get to 6 wins. I don't care how it happens. It doesn't bother me who the quarterback is. I don't care if Riley Ferguson quarterbacks. I don't care if there's a walk-on over there who quarterbacks them to 6 wins. But here's the point. You've got to make Worley demonstrate to you that he can, A, grip the ball and then throw the ball with velocity in practice this week. If he can do those two things, Steve, then he'll be my quarterback over Dobbs simply because he has more of the offense down pat. And I know that's not what fans want to hear, but I want to win 6 games. Your thoughts on that?
And I would agree. But I can't believe that is going to be the case. I mean, he came in this week from that game last week and didn't need to get hit and wrenched up his own thumb.
Yes, he did. Yep, and they let him, and they left him out there 2 series too many today with that going on.
And what makes you think that he's going to get better miraculously this week?
Steve, thank you. I think that's food for thought. I really do think that's food for thought. And guys, snap and clear, snap and clear, snap and clear. Jerry, how do we do that? How do you put this game away?
I don't follow you. What do you mean?
How does Tennessee forget about this game? I'm speaking in Butch Jones-ese here. Get with me. Get with the program.
Well, hey, this team, they've shown when, the chips are down, they can play at Florida Field. We're trying to start Peterman, the Worley goes in there and they look like a football team in the second half. They look competitive. In their Georgia game, they show up there, although we couldn't close the deal there. And then South Carolina, they played. So to me, what I saw today, it was all about, I think they got schemed, and exposed for some of the weaknesses that they had, not necessarily from a confidence standpoint. Next week will be totally different because the talent level will have evened out more going into this next game versus what we saw today.
Well, I just hope, Bino, from the standpoint of this ball club, that they can come out, get themselves together, and not throw up a stinker next week on the road. I'd like to see this team play a good ball game on the road against somebody that's not Kentucky.
Yeah, I would too, Tony. And really the only outlier here is Florida. We went to Florida against a subpar Florida team and did not play at the level that we could have played. Oregon and Alabama, that's Tennessee against Michigan in the 2001 Citrus Bowl. Too many options, too much speed. It doesn't matter what we're running out there.
That's a good point. Go ahead, Jerry.
Yeah, and Tony, we said last week too, this game was important in terms of how it was actually played. Now, we knew it was going to be very hard for us to win. We thought there were some things if the game was coached a certain way, these guys could be in the game. But the one thing what I was scared of was if they go out there and get blown out today, with a chance to get to 6 games, a very good chance to get to 6 games. Does this team have enough resolve to bounce right back after getting whooped? Because we know in Oregon what it took us to the Georgia game.
I think that's right.
To find ourselves. We didn't show up at that Florida game like we probably should have if we would have gone out there and played a competitive game.
I'll tell you this, I'd like to get that Florida game back. You talk about a game, I know people point to that Georgia game. Boy, I sure would like to get that Florida game back right now. 865-200-5402. And though people, and I'm not saying all people, but some people want to turn the page on Worley. And look, I don't think the guy is a great college quarterback by any stretch of the imagination. One of the what ifs from this year will be from my end, from Tennessee standpoint, what happens in the Florida game if you just give him the ball and just say, go out and manage the game. And Florida slops around and throws the ball and drops the ball and just plays as poorly as they did with the football. How different does that game look if you could have a do-over? That would sure be interesting. Bino, as we look ahead to next week's game with Missouri, and that loss with South Carolina tonight, South Carolina kind of did Tennessee a favor today, didn't they?
It's hard to tell what that does to a team mentally, Tony, but I would lean toward that being a positive for us going in next week.
There's just, and I don't know how you get back up from that. I mean, I would bet you that the radio in that place, that the crowd there, that team in that locker room, the support staff here, they were going to have their Texas A&M last year moment. A&M comes in, they have the solid year, they have the Heisman Trophy winner, they are the cat's meow in the SEC in year one of the 2 new programs, and Missouri just looked like the forgotten lesser-like, and there's Missouri sitting there at 7-0, and they had 8-0 in their hands. And they were thinking 9-0. Here comes Tennessee. We're going to be 9-0. We have a 500 Tennessee team coming to our building, which I'd be thinking that if I were them. That's exactly what we have the East wrapped up. We beat South Carolina tonight. We're going to wrap the East up. We're going to put a clamp on this thing. And bang, just like that. I don't know if South Carolina now, guys, I don't know if they don't even, if you don't have to consider them the favorite now in the East.
But Tony, finishing last week, I said I thought that they were the favorite representing the East. I think we talked about the best of the two lost teams. I thought that would be South Carolina going to Atlanta out of the East.
Bino, are they your favorite right now? If you had to pick a team in the East besides the Vols, who do you think goes to Atlanta?
Yeah, I think South Carolina would go, Tony. They need Missouri to lose once more, which is going to happen. They play us, Kentucky, then they go on the road to Ole Miss, and then they play Texas A&M. And they need Georgia to lose one more, too, because South Carolina loses out in a 3-way tie.
Boy, what a mess that is. I'll tell you what, that's an absolute mess. As we talk about it on Tennessee Saturday night this evening. If you want to get in with us, 865-200-5402. Again, 865-200-5402.
Tony B here for Pop's Wine and Liquor, Powell, Tennessee's friendliest liquor store. Pop serves North Knoxville with the largest liquor store, offering a wide selection of wines and liquors at the most competitive prices in town. So whether you're looking for the perfect wine for collecting, that special dinner, wedding, party planning, or wine for everyday consumption, Pop's staff will give you the perfect suggestion. David at Pop's Wine and Liquor invites all his Campbell County friends to stop in for the best prices. Only a few minutes drive down I-75 off Emory Road. Pop's Wine and Liquor.
Howdy, friends. I'm Ralph Stanley II.
And I'm Alex Leach.
We are here to tell you about Grace Rehabilitation Center of La Follette.
Grace Rehab has it all for you.
Their friendly staff are here to serve you and your family, whether it's for rehabilitation for you when you're injured, for your child, or for an elderly person in our pool. Come to Grace Rehab. Come on in and tell them Ralph 2 and Alex sent you.
The Early Morning Man on WLAF is Big Josh. For early morning music, it's Big Josh. For early morning news, it's Big Josh. For early morning weather, it's Big Josh. Early Morning Man on WLAF 5 days a week, 5:30 to 9 a.m. is Big Josh. On full-time radio, WLAF, La Follette, Tennessee, the home team.
If your vehicle's on the disabled list, then see the service pros at Rainbow Ford.
Are you ready for a great deal? A money-saving party! We got new and used cars, trucks, and vans. We'll get you kick-started. Yeah, our service and selection are outside. Come deal with us, we're gonna treat you right.
If your vehicle's sidelined with an injury, call timeout and see the service professionals at Rainbow Ford. Their team of factory-trained technicians have the most up-to-date diagnostic equipment, plus the experience to get the job done right the first time. They can help you follow the manufacturer's suggested maintenance schedule so you'll get the most out of your vehicle. And you'll find a full parts department for all you do-it-yourselfers. Go further where dreams come true. Rainbow Ford, 1916 Jacksboro Pike and La Follette, or online at rainbowford.net.
Come deal with us, we're gonna treat you right.
WLAF La Follette. Did you know Holston Gas's 121 School Street across from Jacksboro Middle School has a service tech on call for you 24/7? And did you know Holston can set you up on summer payments so you don't have those big winter heating bills? No matter who you currently use, Holston can trade out that propane tank. And they can fill customer-owned cylinders too. Plus, Holston fills gas grill tanks for just $14. Have you seen their brand new showroom? Check it out today. Call for more information at 562-7596. Holston Gas is across from Jacksboro Middle School.
This is Campbell County High School head football coach Justin Price, and this is my radio station, 1450 WLAF.
This is 1450 WLAF. WLAF, La Follette and East Tennessee's home for
Tennessee Saturday Night with me, Tony Basilio.
That's right. Well, I bought a rim here. It's been about 8 months ago, and this must have been crooked, but it's wore my tar down to nothing. And I'm going to have to get me a new tar out the deal and a new rim, and possibly a realignment job. And well, I want you to pay for a new tar and rim realignment. Well, somebody's going to pay for the thing.
Ed Roy Mullins just known about B&M Tire of Jacksboro. All this could have been avoided. Joe White, Benny Roberts, they take the cuss out of customer service. It's B&M Tire.
You saying you ain't gonna pay? I ain't gonna pay. Somebody could get whooped over this.
This is 1450 WLAF, La Follette and East Tennessee's home for CBS News.